I'd like to thank everybody who's come out today. This is a very important issue. I won't say that I agree with any one speaker here today. I'd like to talk about reality here today. I do agree that healthcare is broken in America. That's the one thing that I really agree with here. But I think that the solutions that are being offered are wrong. I've called Mr. Kanjorski. I called Mr. Spector. They're debating legislation that does not really exist. And I think that the American people are being misled that they have a plan. I think the government has done a terrible job in policing and managing healthcare in this country. I'd like to share a story with you. I'm glad the president of the tax group I belong to couldn't come here today, so he asked me to come in, Robert Ozzie Quinn, to fill in for him today. And I'd like to talk about my daughter Miranda. She passed away in 2004 at 9 years old. And I think that that's why I'm so thankful that I had the opportunity here to speak about this issue as far as health care is concerned. My daughter Miranda was an asthmatic who was under the care of a local physician here in Dixon City from 2000 until 2004 when she died. She kept experiencing asthma attacks continually. So she went to Mercy Hospital many times. She had an area asthma specialist here who was allegedly caring for her. She was airlifted to Geisinger Medical Center. The specialist there said that she didn't have asthma at all, even though she was airlifted there after a near-death experience, and she managed to survive that. She came home here, you know, my opinion is the whole system is broken, from the top to the bottom. My daughter experienced an asthma attack at the Newton Ransom Recreational Center in Newton, and proceeded to call the 911 Communications Center. The 911 Communications Center should have dispatched an ambulance that was right across the street. But they didn't know that the ambulance wasn't there. Advanced life support unit was requested at the call. They never dispatched that unit. That unit was never dispatched. The 911 communication call center operator told this young girl to get out of the chair she was sitting in and lay down on the ground. At the time, I've talked to witnesses who were in the room at the time. This young girl had pink lips, pink fingernails, so she was not in danger. She walked over, laid herself on the floor, and within a couple minutes she was dead. The first EMT to the scene was told because my wife had stated to the 911 call center operator, and I do have a copy of that tape in my possession. I also have all my daughter's medical records also. The 911 communication center should have never told that girl to get out of the chair and lay on the floor, but they have something called immunity. The doctors at Geisinger, the local doctors here, they're not responsible for the things they do to people. And we walk around in our daily life thinking that we have the best health care in the world. And the truth of the matter is that we shouldn't be paying doctors malpractice premiums, and we should hold doctors responsible for the care they give. I think there's just so many problems here, and we're being separated by one thing, a political ideology. Democrats and Republicans aren't going to solve this problem. The American people finally have to step up to the plate and determine that they want legitimate health care. Because no one is ever free if you don't have legitimate health care. Now, my daughter's medical records were run through the medical school at Hershey Medical Center. I received a letter from the physician and the medical school because they ran it through their complete medical school. And they determined that this child had no health care from the first day of treatment until the day she died, which is 4 years later. Now, I have to question who was doing their job, and if they weren't, why weren't they? Mr. Obama doesn't have a solution to this. I had the dean to the new medical school at our tax group. I explained to him what had happened to my daughter, and he agreed with me that it was just a tragedy and she got no care. And I think the solution, some of the solutions to health care are that when you go to a doctor, he has a disc or however he retrieves that information, and he has to review that before you sit down with him, so he has an idea of who's sitting there with him and what care he should give. Okay, because we get 10 seconds of a doctor looking at us and we swear we got something. But the truth of the matter is that if you don't get care, nobody does an autopsy to figure out whether your health care was legitimate. And going to a lawyer to find a solution, that's not a solution, because that's driven by profit too, because they aren't going to take a case unless they're sure they're going to win. So we can keep burying doctors' mistakes and making excuses and believing we have the best health care. Democrats and Republicans have to sit down together and find legitimate answers to the problems that we experience. And those answers are not going to be simple. But I think, as some other speakers have spoken about where we are health care-wise, way down on the list, okay, we should be number one. And we should demand that we be number one again. And my daughter's tragedy is only one of hundreds of thousands that people don't know about. And I would like to say that if people aren't willing to get involved, vote, learn what the issues are in your community, and move forward to make change, then we're just going to repeat the same things we've always experienced. And whether you agree with me or not, I appreciate your time. Thank you.